Okay, folks, it says I'm on live again here. I got a lot of feedback from you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I got some questions from some folks, and I thought I'd try to answer a couple of them. And I just want to start out with there's a thing called Maxim of law. Okay, Maxim. Okay, well, there's a travel maxim, and it's basically the forgotten legal maxim is that free people have the right to travel on the roads which are provided by their servants. Servants, okay? So that would mean who is on top? We are, we the people, by the consent of the governed, remember? Okay? So by their servants for that purpose, using ordinary transportation of the day. Licensing cannot be required for free people because taking on restrictions of a license requires the surrender of your rights. The driver's license can be required of people who are in the use of highways for trade or commerce or for hire. That is, if they earn their living on the road or earn any money on the road. And if they use extraordinary machines on the road, in other words, heavy equipment, diesel rigs, etc. If you are not using the highways for profit, you cannot be required to have a driver license. It's that simple. We have the right to travel freely down the public thoroughfares provided to us by our servants. What's happened is we have all forgot we are the boss and they are our servants. Amendment 10. Okay, so now that's that. And then I was going to share that I got some tickets from a kid in Mills back on, February something. And anyway, he wrote the same shit, no driver license, insurance, registration, all that. So, anyways, I just told him, write me some fraudulent contracts and I'll rescind them in 72 hours. So I want to go over this 72-hour right of rescission. And basically what that is now I lost my phone. Okay, now this here is called the 72-hour right to rescission. Now, even a U.S. citizen can do this. Someone that hasn't taken back their natural birthrights yet and have become sovereign with the status and standing that I have and other American state nationals and secured party creditors, etc. This works because this is one of their own U.S. codes. And that's the trick here. We got to use their own corporate codes, their corporate bylaws against them. Okay. So all you do, you get they literally print them out in a car now. So it's hilarious. And you never see protect and serve on a car anymore, do you? But anyways, so what you do is you get your fraudulent contract, whether you're a sovereign or if you're a U.S. citizen, and you take a red Sharpie and try to get a fine point one. And what you do is you take it and in a 45-degree angle, you write 72-hour right to rescission. Your offer to contract is not accepted. You are operating under USC Title 18, Section 242 and 241, conspiracy to deprive me of my rights under the color of law. I am a living man. I am the beneficiary of the living trust. I do not consent to contract or joinder, and waive the benefits and offer. Administrator judge, were you were you administering my trust without my consent? I do not consent to contract or joinder and waive the benefits and offer retroactively. So when I got mine, I didn't even write all that on there. Mine was just short and sweet. Your offer to contract is not accepted via 18 USC 240, section 241 and 242. By, and that's called a byline, date and time it. That's it. Write them on there. Within 72 hours, you go take it to the circuit clerk, get copies made. They don't know what the hell you're doing, but you need to educate them. And it's like David Strait always says, we need to learn how to correct their errors. And once you start correcting their errors and trying to educate these indoctrinated minions, things will start happening for you. So I was supposed to be in court, I think, on the 7th of March, and I checked last week. Just to make sure that everything went through, and as of 3/31/23, I went through the Natrona County warrant search, and there's no warrants out on me. So this stuff is real and it works, okay? And even U.S. citizens that haven't done all the paperwork, which is hard, okay? It's not easy. David Strait's got a lot of good tips on there. And then, like I talked earlier on the other video about getting your birth certificate authenticated. Well, it's actually a duly authenticated birth certificate, and that takes weeks and weeks. When I did it back before, there wasn't even 1 million of us back then. Now there's like 22 million American state nationals. I don't even have a clue how long it'll take to get an authenticated birth certificate done. But anyways, just to show that, it works. Okay, so that was the second thing I wanted to tell you guys. And then the third one was what you can say in court. Now, this is mainly for traffic violations or, the charges, because they're charging your Sestica V trust. They're not charging you. They're charging the trust so they can get their hands on the money is what it is. So what you do is you go into court and let them speak their bullshit and let them spiel their stuff. Just all you hear, you just got to, the trick when you go to these courtrooms is what you got to hear, train yourself, is the peanuts. Rah, 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 rah. It's the only thing you can do, so you stay focused. Don't let any of their verbiage affect you, because it's all ignorance, okay? So as soon as you get your chance to speak, you say, first, I do not consent to these proceedings. Secondly, your offer is not accepted. Third, I do not consent to being the surety for this case and these proceedings. And fourth, I demand the bond be immediately brought forward so I can see who will indemnify me if I am damaged. And almost every time the case is immediately dismissed because they know you know. In other words, the jig is up. So once again, all that is calling them out and correcting their errors. And let me tell you, they've been making a lot of them for a long, long time. And so that was that. And then I wanted to share something else from David Strait that I had found. If I can find it here. That's the Maxim. Sorry. I tried to print this off my phone, but I couldn't get it. Okay, now this was a David Strait question to the police. And he says to the cop, okay, he's like, do you even know how you get paid? And the police says, I don't know, property taxes? And David laughed. And he says, let me show you. He says, do you got one of them little ticket books with you? And apparently the guy did. And he goes, you see that number? That number. At the top, that's a cause of action number. That cause of action number creates a case number. The case number creates a cuss-up number that's attached to a bond, which the bond is sold on the ISIN number out the back door of the courthouses every evening and reported onto the CAFR funds into the bond market on Wall Street. Bond market on Wall Street is 10 times the size of the bond, 10 times the size of the stock market. And he put some examples here because when I first met him, he lived up in Oregon, Bend, Oregon. So he'd done some research here and it said, Bend, Oregon, Parks and Recreation, $65 million budget and only 100,000 people. Deschutes, Oregon, $65 million